Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with rcgroups.com, and we're here with Mike from Robart. How are we doing today, Mike?
Good, Jim. How are you today, bud?
Well, everyone, you've missed a fun first few minutes of the episode, getting ready to shoot. So hopefully we continue on having a good time. Today we're going to talk about side loading versus center loading and retracts and how you can figure out what the difference is. If you have no idea or if you have a vague idea, we will make sure when you leave the video today, you'll know exactly what it is. And we're going to look at the 620 series of retracts while we explain it to you.
Yeah, Jim, last week we talked about the 630s, okay? And we started to introduce a center loading versus a side loading. And today we're just going to continue down that path. Today, still we're going to be staying in that same weight class range, which is that 12 to 24 pound range, okay? That's where we were last week with those 630s, which is a bread and butter staple product of ours. And
let me jump in and say, in the thread, somebody says, will this work on a 30cc plane? So we're talking about pounds, which can we talk about cc's and kind of what in a vague cc reference guide?
We get that question all the time, right? We get, hey, will this work on a 30cc? Will this work on a 60cc? Will this work on such a cc? Or on the other side of it, we get, hey, will this work on a certain wingspan plane, right?
Right.
Well, with what we do here, we do everything on the weight of the plane because we need to take the weight. What's the weight of that going to be? Will these mounting flanges, okay, will they hold up to the weight? The length of the plane really doesn't do work for us because it depends. Whether do you build heavy? Do you build light? Is this an ARF? Is it a scratch build? Is it
got it?
Yeah, is it a foam plane? Is it a balsa plane? Is it carbon? Did you add carbon fiber to it? Did you not? There are so many variables that can go into it that can affect the weight of the plane, of the weight or that impact coming down on that.
So, like,
you fly on grass.
Will it fit a 30cc plane? The next question is, do you overpower your airplanes? Is this actually a, so the CC, you're saying the CC doesn't matter, wingspan, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is how much weight you're going to apply to these retracts.
95% of the time you are correct. Okay. The other 5% of the time is if we are making a specific gear for a specific kit manufacturer. And so let's say that they have a P47, right? And if they got a P47, so like this is for the top flight P47 giant scale. Some of the top flight kits were distinguished by wingspan, or like the Zeroli P47. Okay. The Zeroli P47, when we made the gear for those, let me just verify. Let me just make sure I'm not speaking out of turn. Let me get in that 90% confident, right? Yeah. So when we talk about like the Zeroli P47, is it the 72-inch or the 92? So like I say, 95% of the time, we're going to be looking at weight classes.
Got it.
The other 5% is going to be just to distinguish what gear set goes with a specific kit.
Understood.
Okay. So let's jump right in here. Let me switch over to my camera. All right. So today we're going to be talking about two gear sets, specifically in this 620, which are the two main ones. You have the 622 P47 and the 622-5. All right. Depending on how winded, how far we get into this recording, maybe we'll only open up one of these because it's essentially going to be answering what we've been talking about. Actually, I take this back. I'm going to cut this from down here. It'll be easier for my team to repack this. Okay. Don't you love all the crinkling of paper while you're trying to?
I prefer paper over plastic every time.
Okay. So last week, 630 series, center loading. The strut goes into the center of the retract, off to the side. This week, it's a 620 series, which is a side loader. The strut goes up the side of the retract. Make sense?
Very simple. And why? What's the difference, and why I have two different variations?
Kit manufacturers. Okay, so
what'll fit, right?
Yeah, what will fit and how they design. So this has your flanges on the side. This is the P47. So you have your offset, and this comes down this way. Your up blocks, I'm going to have it upside down. I'm trying to get without doinking the camera. Also, your locks are in this housing. This is your front housing. Okay, your up locks and down locks are in here. Let's see if I had one handy. And then so as this pushes, it will move. Gosh, it's hard to see here, isn't it? So as it pushes, it will move that lock down on these pins.
Okay.
And then come back up, and then that will lock up here. And so it takes all of the weight off of your power plant. These are available pneumatic or electric. So when you're landing or you're in the retracted position, either way, all the inertia that comes up the strut, or even from the rocking when you're flying, is all taken in on the block and then through your mounting rails here. Nothing is being held up by your power plant.
Got it.
Okay. So that's the big difference on as a side loader versus a center loader on these. Both of them have your positive up and down locks on them. This one is designed for the Top Flight P47. It does come with your struts.
Is that a spring in there, I guess?
There is. It is a spring in here. Okay. This one is already cut to length for the Top Flight P47.
Just so good looking, these units.
Yeah, they are. They're wonderful looking. They're great. You can adjust your toe in and toe out.
Okay.
Right here. I gave away my little pointer. I could use this. Your toe in and toe out are right here. So once you get it set to the way you want, we came out with that toe tool so you could square it up, and then you can make your adjustment side to side, whether you want a little toe in and toe out. That's done all the way up at the top of the retract.
Got it.
The dimension drawings are available online for this gear, and this is a very popular gear. Now, when we look at the 620 series in general, Jim, why don't you jump? Let's jump back. I'm going to kick my camera back to the front camera. And why don't you jump on the website here? Okay. And you'll see scroll all the way to the top for me real quick, if you don't mind. Okay. So we're going to get out of search results, and I want you to hover over Retracts on the left-hand side. Hover over that, go down to aircraft weight 12 to 24. And then
12 to 24. This is great for all of you watching to figure out how to get here.
620 series right in the middle. Click on that one right there. And then let's just look at pneumatic. All right, so here's all of the 620 series gear that we offer. Okay. You can have them in aluminum. We can get aluminum blocks. You can get some. They're offered in 85 or 90 degree angle of deployments. It's mainly been a top flight gear with the Top Flight P47, the Top Flight Mustang, Midwest had the 620 for their AT6. It's available pneumatic, electric. If you have pneumatic and you want to go electric, it's actually a very simple gear to swap back and forth because the power plant is held in just by a clevis pin with an E-clip. Okay, so
got it.
It's a couple E-clips back and forth. So that's it's an easy gear to convert back and forth, whichever way you want. Dimension drawings, spare parts lists are available out there. It's an easy gear to work on. It's an easy gear to diagnose. Though always make sure that on these, one thing that you always have to make sure is when you get this mounted and you have your wheel and you're in the retracted position, when you're in the wheel well, make sure that wheel can spin in that wheel well, okay? Because then you don't have any pressure on it. You got to make sure that this gear sits in there nice, that wheel can spin so that everything can operate properly on this block, okay?
Got it.
So that's our 620 series in 11 minutes and 21 seconds.
And an explanation of side versus center. So it's just a form factor of which will work on your bird.
Yep.
And then once again on the site, just feel free to get in that search bar or use the menu on the left-hand side and find anything you need.
You got it. Hey, Jim, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Everything that you're doing for the hobby and what, doing these videos and whatnot. And just we're excited to continue to work with you.
I always remind people, there are ads on our site and there's feature articles about products like this. And my point is always, without companies like Robart and you, there would be no one out there pushing the hobby forward, providing us things that we can utilize on, and in your case, really fine aircraft and expensive aircraft that deserve great retracts. So big thanks to Robart for creating all this stuff that allows us to keep having a great time in the hobby.
You got it, guys.
All right, everyone. Jim T. Graham with RC Groups, Mike with Robart. Thanks for everyone who hangs out with us here and hit all the buttons, subscribe and like, and we will see you with the next one.
Have a good one.